Now that the tempeh is marinating in the fridge, what we can do is clean the mushrooms. So over here I have my container with mushrooms. They're about this size. And these ones don't look like they have much dirt on them. So what I like to do is I will use a paper towel. And you can make it damp so that it doesn't damage the mushrooms as much. So if you hold it above steaming water, maybe your water kettle, let it boil and then just hold it above so that it becomes a little damp. Then you can rub the mushrooms from the top to the bottom, removing all the dirt. And I find that these mushrooms actually ended up being a little bit dirty. So you do that with all the mushrooms. This way they don't soak up the water if you were to rinse them, because that would dilute the flavor of the mushrooms. So now that this is cleaned, we will chop off the edge of the stem. And then we can slice the mushrooms. So slice them once in half, and then again each half in half. Good. And we have all of the slices of mushrooms here. So what we'll do next is saute the slices of mushroom. We'll use 2 tablespoons of oil. 1, 2. And we can saute the dish. Okay, so we'll turn it on, and we have the 2 tablespoons of oil in the pan. Then we will add the sliced mushrooms. And we will need a spatula to make sure that they don't stick to the pan. We want them to brown so that they give off that flavor. The mushrooms have an umami flavor. I don't know if you've heard about that, but it's the 5th taste. So we have sour, bitter, sweet, and salty, and umami. And so umami is like this nutty flavor, very rich. It's caused by the compound glutamate in the plant foods. So the fermented soybeans have an umami flavor, the mushrooms, the carrots, the tomato, the onion. So this dish is very rich in umami. So we'll just let that sit when it can brown. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you how to use the carrot greens. So I have 2 carrots that had a lot of greens on them. Over here, I separated the little leaves. So if you have one stalk, you can take the stalk off. And then what I did is I just picked off the leaves so that I am left with the main stem. So like this. So all I have left is the stem. Okay, so I'm not eating that. I'm only going to use this. And what I recommend is just letting it soak into a bowl of water so that way the dirt can come out of it. And what we will do is just chop that up. So I have about 4 stalks, okay, of leaves. Chop that. And you can cook that into the dish. It's starting to brown, it's looking very good. I know this is very loud. So some people ask me if they can use mushrooms by themselves as a meat substitute. So actually, if you have a cup of mushrooms, 8 ounces of mushrooms, they will only give you about 3 grams of protein. Compared to the tempeh, that has about 15 grams of protein in 85 grams of tempeh. So it's not a good alternative for meat. It does not have enough iron, it does not have enough B12, not enough zinc. So I would always add another protein source like legumes or like chickpeas or lentils or beans or nuts. That would give more protein to complement the mushrooms. So in this dish we have the tempeh, the fermented soybeans. Now I'll give you a little bit of information about the nutritional composition of the tempeh, the fermented soybeans. 1 serving is considered 3 ounces or 85 grams, and that contains 165 calories. It contains 18 grams of protein, 12 grams of carbohydrates, of which 6 grams are fiber, which is really incredible because we need about at least 25 grams of fiber in a day. It contains 4.5 grams of fat. There's no salt in tempeh. Then there's 15% of the daily value of iron in it, so that's really good. It's about 2.7 milligrams of iron in one serving, and that is actually more than in meat. Then we have 9 to 10% of daily value of calcium and 18% of daily value magnesium, so that's really good. Then in addition to that, it also contains live active bacterial cultures, so that will help to keep our immune system strong and to help with the digestion of the food. The fiber of the soybeans also is a prebiotic, so that helps to feed the bacteria in our microbiome. So those are all contributing to great health and helping to prevent chronic disease. So let's continue. I have taken out the tempeh, so the marinade is still in it, and we're going to drain the marinade from it. So just use a strainer. Okay. Just fits. You can keep the bay leaf in, and we're going to just dump this whole amount into our pot. We are reserving this marinade liquid. Now we're going to put the tempeh with the vegetables into the pot. Okay. And then we're going to turn on the heat. And we want to brown the tempeh now. So I have a spatula here. Bring up the heat. It smells delicious. I can really taste the lime, the thyme, the onion, the garlic. So this will take about 10 minutes just to get everything browned. The tempeh is a firm product, so what you can do is you can also grill it, and you can cut it in strips. You could stir fry it, use it in different casseroles if you want. You could use the strips grilled or sauteed on a sandwich, for example. It's good to add some kind of a sauce or a marinade to it because that will give it much more flavor. Otherwise it might be a little bit tangy, nutty, dull flavor. Good, so the tempeh is browning, and now we can go to the next step. So we are going to add vinegar, 1 tablespoon of vinegar. And we are going to stir the tempeh so that it gets covered. All the tempeh needs to be covered with the vinegar. And then we will add tomato paste, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Stir that as well. Let it saute for about 1 minute so that the tomato paste loses its acidity a little bit. I'm going to turn up the heat. And then we will add the liquid from our marinade. So we'll bring everything to a boil. I will also add in the herbs, the parsley. Also add in the tops of the carrots. And we're going to let that simmer for about 20 minutes. And then the last 10 minutes we're going to add in our mushrooms. So we can cover this and turn it to medium-low. Good, so it has been boiling now for 20 minutes. We're going to add in the mushrooms, and we're going to season it with salt and pepper. salt. Add in a little bit, stir it, and then taste it so that you know how much more to add. Add in a little bit more salt. Good. So we'll just continue to simmer it until 10 minutes are over. Good, so after the 30 minutes of simmering, I'm going to show you how to thicken the bourguignon. So over here in this cup I have 2 tablespoons of flour. And what I will do next is with a ladle, I'm going to scoop in a cup of the hot liquid. So I'll just get that from here. Just so that we can mix that with the flour without it lumping. Just mix it into a smooth paste. And then once that is dissolved, then we can put it back into the dish. And then the rest can thicken. Now we will mix that back into the bourguignon. So now we have a good consistency of our Tempeh Bourguignon. We can take out the bay leaf and it's ready to serve. You can eat it with mashed potatoes or with rice or with quinoa, whatever you prefer. Enjoy!